Hi, my name is Fatiha Amira. Hope you are doing well and great. Today, our group will be presenting regarding SeaShells case study given. I'm the first presenter will be presenting question 1, which is identify the stakeholders involved in the decision to transfer packaging of seafood to another country and discuss the response of each group to this decision. For Seychelles, the first stakeholders involved is governments of the islands. This is because the government will be not interfere with the Seychelles as long as the company pays the amounts of tax that they should. Um, we can say that it's more likely than others to accept what they are told and follow the instructions for these segments. The second stakeholders will be employees, which we can say that these workers can be seen by their interesting to make the company success since they will receive their salary from the seashell rights. But the only way to influence the seashells is to withhold labor, which is inefficient since the outsourcing packing to a foreign country already has this impact on the seashell. The only way to influence the corporation seems to be to create negative to create negative coverage in the local community. And thirdly, shareholders also one of the stakeholders involved to reassure of the outcomes of the strategy well in advance to keep them satisfied. As long as the return on investment (ROI) from the seashell is acceptable and the directors are running the company effectively, then the shareholder will be happy. Certainly, the decisions to decrease the input costs will be acceptable if this also means increased profits and dividends. By that, the shareholder will be satisfied and happy. Next, customer also involved into making decisions. Since the customer have high power, they are likely to be able to buy seafood products from other businesses. As a result, Seychelles must keep this community happy. Otherwise, they will be risked by losing their valuable revenue streams. Customer will also accept the decisions to reduce shipping costs because Seychelles price will also be decreased. And last but not least, directors. Directors which can give the influence towards Seychelles since they will make decisions regarding to running of the company. And in this context, shifting packaging to a foreign country is in the Seychelles' best interest because it gives it a price advantage and therefore can guarantee its sustainability. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to the next presenter, Cairo Anwar. Thank you.
Okay. Hello everyone. Okay. Hello everyone. Okay. Today I will explain the concept of sustainability and evaluate the extent to which key self activities can be considered sustainable, and discuss methods of reporting that can be used by SeaShells to explain the environmental impact of its activities. Okay, first, what is sustainability? Sustainability is means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In addition to the natural resources, we also need social and economic resources. Sustainability is not just environmental reason, but it embedded in most definitions of sustainability. We also find concerns for social equity and economic development. Okay, what the extent on SeaShells activity by they are doing the transfer almost all of the packaging of seafood to another country. Okay, first for the organization, we can reduce costs for advertisement. The second one is the workforce can be decreased to 35%. Okay, for the long-term vision, they can explore new potential investors and customers. Okay, for people they can get price at an affordable price, which they okay for people. The price of various products are affordable for them, and it is quite cheap as well. Okay, for the environment, okay, the aquatic population will be decreased. Why? Because the cheese seashells company exploit the resources. Okay, the second one is the uh, the second one is it will make the environmental population, such as sea pollution. Okay, for the method is we can use environmental reporting. First, we need to disclosure of information of management and monitoring of the environmental impact of the extractive industry. The second one is we need to include the legal provisions and regulations. The third one is we also need to include the environmental management practice within regulatory framework. Okay, before before that, this is the benefits to citizens. First, citizens understand exploitation of seafood operations are complying with national legislation and regulation. The second one is data on extractive sector revenues can help citizens understand the extent to which they are dependent exploitation of seafood and supplier for human needs. Okay, the next one is for benefit for company. First, we can create that transparency over payment and environmental impact can help build trust with affected communities. The second one is the disclosing environmental payments and information on environmental impacts can strengthen a company social license to operate. Okay, last but not least, the benefit for government. First, the government the government can strengthen their public 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 school thingy and help ensure that revenue can be maximized. Okay, last but not least, government can use information of environmental impact to ensure that they have the right legal and regu- regulatory controls in exploitation of seafood company. Okay, that's all. Thank you from me.
Hi, I'm Nur Aklatika. I will explain more about question 3, which is explain corporate governance best practice in terms of director remuneration and assess the extent to which remuneration in SeaShells meets these requirements, making any recommendation you consider appropriate. Next slide, corporate governance. Corporate governance is a system of rules, policies, and practice that dictate how a company's board of directors manage and oversees the operations of a company. Corporate governance include principles of transparency, accountability, and security. Poor corporate governance at best leads to company failing to achieve its stated goals and at worst can lead to the collapse of the company and significant financial losses of shareholders. Next, director remuneration. Director remuneration is the payment made for service or employment of directors on the board, the company or corporation. These include the basic salary and other monetary or non-monetary benefits that an executive receive during on her tenure. Generally, board of directors are categorized into two different categories. That's it, executive and non-executive directors. Okay, executive directors are regarded as a non-independent director since they are assigned specific operating role within the entities such as finance, administrations, and operation. And the second one is non-executive director. Meanwhile, are regarded as independent directors since they are not directly involved in operating function. Requirements and recommendation. The main condition is that adequate remuneration should be paid to the directors to attract individuals of sufficient caliber. Remuneration package should be structured to ensure that individuals are motivated to achieve levels of performance that are in the best interest of the company and shareholder as well as their own personal interests. Performance-related remuneration. Corporate governance guidelines suggest that a significant proportion of award should be focused on measurable performance, as SeaShells do. What is meant by a large amount is not always stated, but 50% is a reasonable figure. A total of 75% again can be considered excessive. Another guiding element on the remuneration performance element is that it should be balanced and not related to the short term. The second one is setting remuneration. The remunerations of the director should be determined by a remuneration committee, which SeaShells has. The reason is to ensure that there is no bias in setting the level of remuneration. The last one is share option. Share options entitle directors to purchase shares at a specific exercise price within a specific period of time in the future. If the share price rises to exceed the exercise price at the time the option is exercised, the director will be able to purchase the share at a price lower than their market value. This provides a good incentive for directors to raise share price. However, corporate governance rules typically recommend a maximum period of 3 years of stock option. A 5-year term in SeaShells may be unrealistic because the term is too far into the future to motivate current directors. So, decreasing the term for the grant of future option should be considered.